Hi everybody, welcome back to this channel. This is Aretê Supply, and if you are new here, this is where I'm showing you guys all of the details in my journey to build this e-commerce business. I'm going to be selling a physical product. It is going to be a beautiful vegan leather messenger bag, and I have an incredible mission that inspires my brand, so definitely subscribe and ring the bell so that you can be notified of future videos and watch me as I embark on this journey. So today's video is all about branding, and I'm going to go through with you guys my journey so far on getting my brand package and my brand guidelines developed so that I can use them in all of my activities as a brand on my social media pages and even here on YouTube. The branding and logo that I have on my videos and on my YouTube channel right now is a placeholder that I made on Canva. And if you've not heard of Canva before, it's a very easy platform. It's free. You can use it to make really simple, easy to make visual assets for yourself in a pinch. So I want to talk about the pricing that I've got back from different graphic designers that I've reached out to, and there's a huge scale of pricing here, you guys, so I really want to go into detail about that and my experience with that and what I'm going to get from the graphic designer that I chose and that I'm going with, why I chose the graphic designer that I'm going with, and even taking a step back at the different paths that I looked at in order to get my branding and my logo established. So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. So let's get right into it. So first and foremost, I want to give you guys an overview about my decision-making process in how I went about and how I'm going about getting my branding and my brand guidelines and everything done. So first, I considered going on to Upwork like I had for the actual designer of my product and getting proposals from different graphic designers and things like that, and I'm sure that that would have worked. I'm sure that that's a great way to go about this and to get some really high quality design work done, but that's just not the way that I went in this specific circumstance. Instead, I decided to reach out to some graphic designers directly that I had been given some insight on from somebody that I'm working with. So the other option, if you're not going to do Upwork and you're not going to reach out to graphic designers, you can use Fiverr. I know this is a really popular design service. The thing here is that you never know kind of what you're going to get back, and especially with as big of a project as mine, not just doing the logo, but building out my whole brand guidelines and everything involved in that. It's a big process, and it's going to be really meaningful for my brand. So I didn't decide to go the Fiverr route. Another option, a hybrid option between Fiverr and going with a full-on graphic designer, is going to be getting your logo done or getting a very simple asset made on Fiverr for $100 or $200 or however many dollars it is, and being happy with that, and then taking that to a graphic designer so that they can build out the rest of your brand package without you having to pay for the actual logo making, which is a big chunk of the final cost in working with a graphic designer for your entire brand package. So those are kind of the different routes that I considered. Like I said, I ultimately ended up reaching out to different graphic designers, getting quotes back from them, and choosing which one I wanted to work with. Based on that, they're going to build out my entire brand package for me, and I will go into details about what is included in the pricing in that. So without further ado, let's get to talking about the quotes that I got. So I reached out to 3 different graphic designers, actually more than that. One of them was not going to be able to work with my timeline whatsoever. So just to give you guys an idea of my timeline, I'm hoping to have brand assets from the time I reached out to a designer, the time that I was reaching out to designers. I wanted to have assets and my branding package built out within 6 weeks to 2 months. And that's pretty quick turnaround in the design world, I've come to learn. So that was a challenge to begin with. So finding a designer that I liked their portfolio, and having them be able to work within my specific time frame was a set of circumstances that I was working with. So one of them that I reached out to begin with wasn't able to work in my timeline. So the 3 others out of them a huge variety of pricing here, you guys. So I'm gonna go with most expensive first. The quote that I got back, most expensive. I'm just gonna look at my computer here. So I'm not gonna name the names of these designers, by the way. There's so many out there. There's so many talented graphic designers out there that you can go find and reach out to and see what they're all about and look at their portfolios. Take a look at their portfolios. If they've done stuff that you like in the past, there's a good chance that they're going to be able to deliver for you and give you what you want for your brand or whatever your project may be moving forward. So this first proposal that I got, number one, way outside of my timeline, and maybe that was up to me to not having stated that to begin with. So the timeline for this was going to be 12 weeks plus. So she was looking at getting me these things in the span of over like a 3-month period, which is not something that I was looking for. And the price point on this, you guys, I will actually, going to be some suspense here. I'm going to read through everything that's included within this quote. So a brand strategy is included, an in-depth look at your brand goals, target audience, and marketing positioning. Really important thing, and she would be able to not only do my assets but go through me with a brand strategy so that she could build out those assets more effectively. Number two, obviously brand visuals. The main full meal deal here, you guys, is the primary logo, a secondary logo, maybe a smaller, simpler one that you can use in smaller spaces in different circumstances, and included with this quote as well as a brand submark. So these marks serve as an important element of a full identity. So kind of, I don't know exactly what this would be in relation to a logo, but maybe just more like your secondary logo, just kind of like little brand submarks, I guess, that you can put places. So the third piece of this quote is creative direction. So that includes a custom color palette, custom fonts, typography system to use across all of your systems and create the cohesion that you're looking for within your brand. So all of that included in this package, a whopping $6,800 to work with this designer, you guys. Yes, 6,800 for this brand package and everything that's included with it. Would she have done a fantastic, out of this world job? Absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind. But that just wasn't within my time range and it wasn't within my price point. So moving on, the second quote that I got from more of a local designer here, she's a little bit closer to my geography where I'm at. She quoted me, and I'm going to go through everything that she included. Her portfolio was not exactly what I was looking for, but I reached out to her anyways because I know that she would have done a great job because of her level of professionalism. So first of all, it starts with a strategy call and a questionnaire to get an idea, for her to get an idea of what your brand's all about, and then she does a full competitive analysis and analyzes all of the competitors within the market that I'm going into. You know, for me, it would be other people selling vegan leather goods. So she would do a complete analysis of that and their branding and their logos to make sure that we're not edging up against any of that or there's any kind of friction there at all. So she's going to be able to deliver a primary logo, secondary logo. Here there's 2 rounds of revisions included, and with the other package I think there were as many revisions as needed included. And fonts and colors, like we talked about, that cohesion. So she's going to deliver a lot of the same things, that full color palette. And her timeline was way more in line with what I was looking for. It's 4 to 6 weeks, so that was perfect for me. So she's not ruled out yet. And the thing that ruled her out for me eventually was the price point. She's coming in at $4,000. So that's not terribly out of this world for the level of quality of work that she does and the people that she's worked with in the past, some bigger names. So she's a really well-known graphic designer in the field. And working with her for $4,000 and getting a full brand package would not have been a bad value. I think it would have been a great value, but again, it just wasn't necessarily within my specific price point. And I was interested in figuring out if I could find a designer to give me everything that I needed, but just kind of at a lower price point that was more affordable for me just going into this and getting started. So that brings me to my third quote that I got. So the quote that I got here is going to include Branding questionnaire, so very similar to the first two, just kind of really getting a good idea of what my brand was about, what kind of strategy, what kind of marketing strategy I was going for, a mood board, which is really cool, and a main logo, icon, which is like a secondary logo, and up to 3 revisions. She's going to give me 3 concepts to begin with, and then I get 3 revisions on whatever concept I choose. A branding guide, which is the same things we've talked about, like a cohesive color guide and fonts and things like that, entire branding guide, and then all of these logos in different colors and different file types and things like that. So pretty similar to what we've seen in the past, even with some additions here. So the quotation on this and her time frame was very similar. It was 4 to 6 weeks, so it's perfect for me. So I went with this designer, and I'll tell you why. It's the price point and the quality of work, and her portfolio was very much in line with what I want to achieve and the feel that I want my brand to have. So I'm confident that she's going to be able to put out the high quality work that I am looking for. So it wasn't all about the price, you guys. Price was a huge consideration for me. It was the confidence that I have in her ability to deliver me with what I need at a price that I can afford, and that was the goal. That's what I was looking for. So her pricing came in. She's located in Europe, so it was in euros, but after conversions, it's about $1,000, $1,000 US. So that is definitely something that I was ready to invest in and had the means to invest in at this point. So she is who I went with. And at this point in the process, I filled out her branding questionnaire. So I will talk to you guys a little bit about her branding questionnaire. So this is the actual branding questionnaire that I got. And like I said, all of these designers kind of wanted to do this with me. They need an idea of what you want your brand to achieve and you want the feel of your brand to be before they can develop these assets for you. And that's just a part of working with a graphic designer or any designer, and it should be. So this branding questionnaire, I'm just going to run through a couple of the most interesting questions to me. So number 1, she wanted, in 1 sentence, describe what does your company do. So she just wants a really entry-level description of what's going on here. She wants to know what inspired my product and my brand. What's the meaning behind the name of my product and my brand? Who my ideal client is. This is a big point that they need to get right, is all of them kind of ask me who my ideal client is, and it's so important to understand who you're speaking to so that you can speak to them effectively and concisely with your branding or whatever marketing activities you're engaging in. So she wanted me to go in depth on my ideal client, you guys. She wanted to know, what do they do for a living? What is their income like? What problems are they facing? Why do they need your product? What music do they listen to? Like, what kind of home do they live in? So like really nitty gritty stuff, and it was good for me. It was good for me to have to answer these questions and to go through this brand guideline so that I got a more concrete idea for myself of what my brand was hoping to accomplish and the person that I'm speaking to going forward in my marketing and everything like that. So I also gave her, she asked for some websites that I love. I had to do some digging with this because it's like, oh, you don't just like think of, oh, I love that website. You know, it's like I had to go and see and find some websites that I liked to give her. So that's that. That's where we're at. I gave her that a little bit over a week ago. So she's been working on my logos. So she's going to come to me next with 3 logos, 3 directions that I could possibly go with. And then I get to decide from there, and then we get to do revisions on that moving forward. But I hope to have my finished branding package from her within the next few weeks. So that's really exciting for me. Like I said, I'm going to be able to use that to really build out my website, my social media pages, and this YouTube channel. I'm so excited to finally be able to use my real branding. So yeah, very exciting stuff. That was my journey on branding and how I got there and the options that I considered along the way and the different price points. Again, I think that going into this, I knew that a reasonable price and something that I would be comfortable with and something that I should expect is around $1,200, $1,400. And that's just the reality of working with a professional graphic designer. And it's so important too. This is something that's really important for you to be ready to invest in, because your branding and how your website and everything about your brand makes your customer feel, makes potential clients feel, is everything. It is everything in communicating what your brand is all about, what my mission is all about as a brand. You know, Aretê Supply Company is all about having excellence and virtue just threaded deeply within everything that we do, and I want my branding to communicate that without anybody even having to read anything about it, maybe. So really exciting, and I can't wait to show you guys what she comes back with. So stay tuned, make sure to subscribe to get updates on that. I'm going to be talking about manufacturing in my next video and exactly where I'm at in this process, and go through a similar thing that I did today with branding, but with manufacturers, all the different price points that I've gotten back, you guys. And that is definitely a little bit more complicated and nuanced, so there's a lot to talk about there. So subscribe and watch me go through all of this and give you more details like I did today, and show you the finished product about my branding and everything that I'm going to come up with. So thank you for subscribing, give this video a like, and ring the bell so that you know when I post my videos next. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.